What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So as you can tell, the vehicle behind me is a Polaris Rzr 1000 four-seater, 4 doors. So the video today is going to be a how-to video on how to change the oil on this vehicle. The reason for that is there's not too many videos on YouTube on the 4-seater version. There are some on the 2-seater, but the 4-seater is a little bit different in terms of an oil change. So wanted to make a video for you guys on how to do that, so hopefully provide some new information for you. But without further ado, let's get this video kicked off. All right, so the first thing you're going to start with is removing the rear seats, which is really simple and easy. There's a little latch behind the bottom cushion of the seat that you just pull up at an angle and the seat comes right off. It's really easy to do. You're honestly going to want to do it to both sides, even though that's kind of a hassle, but it'll make your job a lot easier because it allows easier access to that middle panel. So now that we've warmed up the car a little bit, we're going to open up that plastic panel, which you just pull on and it should come right off. This is actually where the oil filter is located. So this is probably the best access for you to remove that filter once you're ready to do it. That little black part is the oil filter. In case you're not familiar, that's what it is. Now, for future reference, the dipstick of this vehicle is located on the passenger rear side behind the rear doors. We're going to use that a little bit later in this video. For the sizes of the socket wrenches, we used a 1/4-inch adapter that we stuck onto an Allen wrench type of head. It's a 6mm head. It might depend on the vehicle that you have, but for ours it was a 6mm, and it plugged right into that 1/4-inch socket wrench and into an adapter that plugged right into the socket wrench. So several different moving parts in that one, but you'll just have to find the correct size. Now, the oil plug is in a weird location. It's probably best to locate it behind the passenger side of the vehicle, behind the rear doors, behind that dipstick. You're going to get underneath the vehicle, and you'll see there's several little holes underneath the plastic paneling. And one of those holes, the one actually closer to you if you're under the passenger side, is going to have the hole for the oil plug that you're going to have to unscrew to get the oil out of the vehicle. So once you break it loose with a socket wrench, you can just unscrew it with your hands and let the oil flow through. Make sure you have some sort of container to catch this fluids because you don't want that leaking all over the floor. And just a note that the oil plug is going to have an old washer on it. You're not going to want to use that over again. You can just throw that away. We're actually going to have a new washer that comes in a kit. The one we have is the Edwards washer. It's copper. That's what we're going to use. The oil filter is a 2540086 Polaris, and then the oil that we're using is a PS4 5W50. You can get this complete package online either through Polaris or any other retailer, so that way you don't have to remember every single one. You could probably just buy a kit, but that's the one we have on the screen. We also use a little socket wrench to remove the oil filter. It makes it a lot easier than using your hands or one of those belt-guided oil filter removers. This is just another view of underneath the car from the driver's side where the oil plug is located. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you because it's kind of weird underneath the vehicle. We're going to take out the old oil filter and it's going to drain a little bit. You can put some paper towels or a rag underneath it because there's some extra fluid that's running through that filter that's going to leak out. But you're going to want to take that out and put in a new filter every time you do an oil change if you're not aware. So now that the old oil filter is out, we're actually going to take the new oil and the new oil filter, and we're going to rub a little bit of that new oil over the rim of that filter because it makes it easier to install and also to remove it in the future when you're replacing your oil filter every 1,000 miles, I think is what recommended on this vehicle. So you can also pour a little bit into the oil filter. It's not necessary, but it is helpful to put it a little bit on the rim because it makes it a lot easier for the future and it's just better for the vehicle. So while the oil is draining, we're going to install that new filter and secure it in place so that we can, screw up the oil plug and pour the new oil in just a moment. Now we've removed that new copper washer and placed it on the old oil drain plug, and we're going to reinstall that plug back into the same position. So it's been about 5-10 minutes. We've let the oil drain. Now we're just going to re-screw it with that new washer on it. And again, you're not going to want to over tighten that screw just because that could lead to other issues, but make sure there's a little bit of tension once you're screwing it in. Now once you have that drain plug back into its position, you're going to want to actually go to the quasi trunk on this vehicle. It's a little basket in the back, and you're going to remove some of that plastic paneling that's facing that rear seat for the passengers, and you're going to want to take that out because underneath that is the oil fill cap. So that's what you're going to remove to pour the new oil into the vehicle. So now that we filled up the oil, we're just going to want to close up that cap that we opened up to pour in the oil and put back the plastic paneling. It just pops back into place. So after you've done all that and you've run the car for just a few minutes, you're going to check for oil leaks underneath the vehicle. I would check back near the oil drain plug to make sure nothing is leaking out of there. And then after you're done with that and there's no leaks, you're going to want to check the dipstick to make sure that the oil level is where it should be. So make sure you do that when the car is a little bit warmed up. That just makes for a better reading. And once the oil is at the marker where it needs to be, and it should be if you've poured in 2.5 quarts, you're going to want to reseal everything up inside the passenger compartment. So you're going to put that plastic paneling back in, and you're just going to slide the seat back into its designated area. So pretty easy process to clean up, not much to it. Well, there you have it, folks. That is how you change the oil and the oil filter on a Polaris Rzr 1000. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to see this vehicle in future videos, definitely let me know. I can make some more videos of going off-roading and stuff like that out into the forest because there's a lot of trails here. So definitely let me know. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to find me on Instagram at @Schwayze_. Well, until next time, folks, have an awesome day. See you later.